Okay. So it's not of any surprise that the Supreme Court ruled in the way that they did. This country, this government has been anti-black for a long time. And some of you don't even understand the degree of what just took place. So when the 14th Amendment was written, it made us pretty much second class citizens, being that we weren't the dominant group in this country, but we were the second dominant group in this country. And when you really peel back the layers, you'll understand that a number of people in this country didn't want that. They didn't want us to be number two in terms of population in this country. And really, that's questionable because I can't remember the year, but there were only 394,000 slave masters. And there's basically like 3.4 million slaves in the country. So if you factor that in, we were probably at the time of when that amendment was written, we were probably the dominant group in this country. And obviously people did not want that because if you have the dominant population, then you can eventually take the country over and people did not want that. They still don't want that. So the way to get around that is to utilize words that were said, and in some accounts, what wasn't said, and manipulate that so that now you can bring in illegal immigrants, have them give birth in this country, and then they become citizens. And the parents reap the benefits of their child becoming a citizen. So at this point in time, that amendment needs to be updated. But we have people in this country that they're trying to replace us with other groups, especially the Democratic Party, because many of you may not realize it, but in terms of the black population, the black community, if a president does not get 90 to 95% of the black vote, they lose. And really, all a Republican candidate has to do is gain 15, 20, 25% of the black vote. And it's a sure win for the Republicans then. But the real issue is the fact that they're trying to replace us. So many of you who are black that are in agreement with that decision, you're basically shooting yourself in the foot because when others surpass you in terms of voting, if you think we deal with problems now, it's only going to increase if these groups continue to outnumber us. So I believe now we are currently the number 3 group, but the more they try to flood the gates with these illegal immigrants and granting them different rights and everything, we get pushed further and further back. And when you're at the very back of the line, no one's going to listen to you. And that's the overall goal of what they're trying to do. So those justices may be supposedly conservative, but when it comes to making decisions that affects us, they're all in unison. So at that point, it makes no difference whether they're Democrat or Republican. They're all on code with each other. And that's what you need to understand. So for those of you who are celebrating that the Supreme Court ruled in favor of the illegal immigrants, if you thought you had problems now, wait until a couple years from now, 10 years from now, when more and more of these illegal immigrants come in. Now, I'm sure Congress can put something together, but you need 2/3 of Congress and then you need 2/3 of the states to vote along with that. So at this point, I'm not sure if that can even be changed. But what I'm wondering is if an amendment can be put in that if someone who is an immigrant comes over here on a visa and they are more than 6 months pregnant, then you need to be sent back where you came because we can't have this level of illegal immigration coming in and then being granted full citizenship. That was never what the 14th Amendment was made out to be, but it has been manipulated by Democrats because they want us to go further and further back in the line. So when you understand that, then it makes sense that Republican justices crossed the line and sided with the Democrats this time. And the Democrats have always been anti-black. That's why they make you all these promises and give you absolutely nothing. And this is why, as black people, we need to stop just voting Democrat. You need to switch over and become independent. So that way, both parties try to gain your vote. And it's more beneficial to us doing that than to just side with one party. And that party takes us for granted because they know they're going to get our vote. So then they just kind of pay us no mind anyway. But it's both parties. The two-party system is a failure. And if you haven't heard of what this country did back in March in terms of black people, then I want to direct your attention to something else. And give me a second here. So back in March of this year, 2026, March 25th to be more specific, there was a UN meeting, UN Security Council meeting, and there was a vote for reparations for those who were descendants of the transatlantic slave trade. Now, this isn't the vote all the way through. Let me see if I can get it to where it needs to be. But you're not going to be able to see this completely, but giving our people reparations, they decided the United States voted against it. But look at the countries. There were 3 countries that voted against it: United States, Israel, and Argentina. And there's some significance with that because if I recall correctly, after World War II, Argentina is the country that the former Nazis went to. And then if you know what our real nationality is, you'll understand the second vote. And then the United States, if you understand what has taken place over the years, it makes complete sense that the U.S. voted against it. You see, we're never going to get reparations for anything. So although I agree that we should have it, it's never going to happen without divine intervention because we're in a country that overall hates us. We have no friends in this country at all. And that's why it's important for us to unify with each other and help pull each other up instead of kicking each other down. So at the very end of this, 52 countries didn't vote at all. That's what your yellow X's are there for. And this isn't the complete vote, but I have a copy of what the complete vote is, and 52 voted against, 123 voted for. And I want to point out the significance of who voted for, because these countries that voted for reparations are the same countries that we have issues with, like China, Russia. I want to see if that's on here, if it got to that point yet. Yeah, Russia voted yes. I believe North Korea voted yes, and Iran voted yes. So you don't see it on here yet because it's too early, but I have, like I said, I have the final copy. And the main countries we have issues with voted yes. Yemen voted yes. Although this country tries to promote that, we've moved on and slavery was a thing of the past, we don't have an issue with black people, it's the furthest from the truth, because if you didn't take issue with us, you would have voted for the reparations, and quite frankly, would have given it already. You wouldn't even have to ask for it. It would have been done already. So, we have to realize what it is we're dealing with. And the vote from the Supreme Court, it didn't even surprise me. I didn't think of it one way or another. But what it appears to be is there's people trying to trigger us. And the last couple of years, we haven't been falling for it. Like even with turning over affirmative action, we never benefited from that to begin with. Just like the civil rights laws, we aren't the main recipients of reaping the benefits of that. Other groups were, and a particular gender of a certain community benefited from that. We didn't fully benefit from anything. And it's almost like it's smoke and mirrors that we deal with some of these laws, because look good on paper, but they do absolutely nothing. Just like, Joe Biden declaring Juneteenth a national holiday. It doesn't change anything. It's not like the racial divide and the situation got better for us. And you see that things are slowly reversing back to the tension and hostilities of the 1960s, which overall it wasn't that long ago to begin with. It's only been 60 years, and already in 60 years, things are starting to revert back to how they were before. So, again, ladies and gentlemen, keep your eyes open because they're not done. They're going to do other things to try to trigger us. But the most important thing is you just sit back and watch. Because I'm going to quote from the Bible that Satan knows his time is short. So he's going to do all these different things. He's going to motivate some people to do all these little wicked things that's in his interest. But we already know who wins in the end. So stay prayed up, sit back and watch, and don't let these people trigger you in any way because that's what they want.